I'm Aaron Graber with Ventrac, and we're on a college campus with the 45RC, and we're about to mow the very big hill directly behind me. I'm pretty excited today because this is the perfect hill to showcase the capabilities of this tractor. I have mowed this hill before, so I know it can be done, but it does take a seasoned operator to be able to navigate around the terrain that this hill presents. You can see that there are some areas that are regularly maintained, like down here at the bottom where it's mostly flat. And then as you get further up the hill, you see that there's been some time where they probably string trimmed the area and it's growing back a little bit. There's also some other areas on the steeper part of the hill that they probably haven't touched in a couple years. There's some small saplings growing. And the main reason for this is because on a typical campus like this, regardless of the equipment they have, there's a crew of operators that not all of them are comfortable grabbing a Ventrac or something like it and mowing physically on a hill like this. What that generally leads to is over time, these areas start to get neglected and they focus on other parts of the campus that are more pressing needs. So what you can do with the 45RC is have a tractor that the whole crew can operate in a technical area like this. They can grab the tractor and they can operate just like normal, and then when they need to, they can step off the machine, connect with the remote control, and mow the technical spots from a distance that makes them comfortable. And then of course, the biggest value in the 45RC is that after you're done mowing this hill, you can absorb it into the rest of your fleet and you can use it on the rest of this campus. I'm gonna get to work on this hill. I'm gonna start on the machine and check out some of the different spots that I wanna see from the vantage point of an operator on the tractor. And then as soon as I've done that, I'm gonna bring it back down to the bottom, connect to the remote control, and mow the rest of this hill in RC mode. So we've reached the side of the hill now that's much steeper than the first part, which means we're now going loops and kind of driving up and going downhill on the cut path, just so that we have as much traction as possible and so that I have good visibility from the top side of the hill down. We've got a lot of things up here at the top. I was using the camera previously to navigate around this driveway and the picnic table and the building, but now that there's some fence posts and I'm a lot closer to those, I want to actually be up here with the ability to see the tractor very closely and start my passes from the top of the hill. And then when I get to the bottom, I'll drive back up and do it again. you're on the very steep parts of the hill like this, what you always want to try and do is go as straight as possible, because you're in a traction limited situation.
So every time you get over to the left or right and you get the machine articulated too far, you lose a little bit of traction on the rear wheels. So it's always best to go as straight as possible. And in this condition, down the hill gives us the best chance at mowing this cleanly so that we don't have any tire slip and we don't rip any of the turf out. The big goal here is that when we're done with this, the hill is mowed down enough that the brush is under control, and most importantly, that you don't get washouts coming off this hill when you get heavy rains. That would be a problem if you left this brush to continue growing, because once you start establishing trees and the grass and brushy areas can't take over as much and develop as deep of root systems, then those heavy rains develop ruts because the hill is so steep. So right when I hit that tree going downhill, what I'm watching for is I'm watching for any instability in the back side of the machine, because I want to make sure I have the same amount of traction on the front and back half. So I can notice that the hill right before that tree has a hole in it, and part of the tractor's dropping in, which changes the dynamics of where it's sitting on the hill. If I kept going forward progress at the same angle, then I was noticing that the rear was slipping sideways, which is sending me in not a straight path, which is not what I want to do. So I backed up to readjust and put the deck at a different angle, and that was what let me drive right through that tree to the bottom without getting positioned to the side.
Okay, we have officially finished mowing this hill, and as predicted, the 45RC is the perfect machine for this. There was a couple spots I hopped on the machine to mow because it was gonna be a little faster, and then when it got really steep, I got off the machine. I was much more comfortable running it that way, and it was totally effortless. I am also standing about 10 feet away from a hornet's nest that I never even realized was there, and the reason I didn't realize is because I had the tractor remote controlled for that portion of the hill. So I'm keeping an eye on it as I'm talking to the camera, but I am thrilled that I was not on top of that hornet's nest when the machine went over it. So that's another little quirk about this application that makes it even better to be remote controlled. But for the most part, this hill was not a challenge at all, because all I had to do was pay attention to the machine, watch my tires, pay attention to my traction, and stay very attuned to what the remote control was doing. I never had to drive the machine at all on any of the very steep parts of this hill. The tractor performed flawlessly. The Tough Cut took care of all of the area that was untouched from the last time this hill was maintained, and it is completely mowed down so they can avoid doing any string trimming or handwork around this hill for the rest of the season. The 45RC is exactly in its home in this application, and I think it's obvious that in an application like this, this is exactly the machine you want to be using. I'm gonna call it a wrap. There's not much more to say. I hope you liked the video. If you want to see more information on the 45RC or other Ventrac products, visit us online at ventrac.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see more videos of this product and others, and we'll catch you next time.